Hey everybody, this is TDK, Mr. So Real. I wanted to make a video before the 2.0 Destiny Taken King patch came out, and unfortunately I don't think I really made it. I had a few technical difficulties, one with Premiere having some problem reading the PlayStation 4 saved game audio. If you have the same problem, let me know in the comments and I'll try and tell you how I went about fixing it. But enough of that and the technical difficulties. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video, which is I really want to know what your opinion is on the new patch. I know that the patch is geared towards the PvP community. Now, if you're a PvE player and you're wondering, well, do I really want this patch, or is there anything in there for me? Probably there are a few things that you really want to know about, such as the auto rifle buff. A lot of people have been complaining that the auto rifles have been quite garbage, and rightfully so. Pulse rifles have taken their place with this beastly pulse rifle that you see, you saw a second ago and you see now, the Hopscotch Pilgrim. If you've played Crucible in the past, I want to say 2 weeks, you've probably been killed by the thing. It's been very popular lately, and I guess the drop rate has gone up a bit because I've seen it a lot more than I used to. But anyway, getting back on point, there are lots of things that are going on in the patch. The patch is now live. It should be live. I'm recording this really late my time. And I'm really curious to know what you guys think of the new patch. Did it do what you hoped it would have done in terms of nerfing the shotguns, giving the fusion rifles a little better standing in the Crucible, and also dealing with those pesky exotic handguns? Now, speaking of the exotic handguns, nice teabag jerk off. Anyway, speaking of the exotic hand cannons, the Last Word and Hawkmoon are going to stay in the fold and get an update in the year 2 primary weapon slot. Thorn, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you want to look at it, is not going to get that same treatment. So this means that the Last Word and Hawkmoon are both going to get some kind of new perks or possibly new balancing. I really have no idea what they're going to do. Bungie didn't send me out to any of their events, so I really don't have the inside word on that. If you've checked out the Destiny Reddit, you've probably seen that the Suros Regime, the Red Death, the Bad Juju, and Monte Carlo are all going to be put in the year 2 primary weapons upgrade system. That means basically they're going to get either a reskin or, like I said, the new perks. I'm really curious about this, and being a Hawkmoon fan, I really want to see what they do with it. I'm also curious about Bad Juju. I liked Bad Juju, and I thought as a pulse rifle it was really interesting. It had some nice perks, not having to reload and having an almost endless supply of bullets always seemed like a fun thing to have in the PvE context. Of a buff or a new series of perks. I'm really kind of interested in seeing what they do with those, since the Fourth Horseman kind of sucked in the beginning. It got a little bit of traction in the Prison of Elders, but yeah, for the most part, the reload was kind of low, and it didn't hold that many bullets, so it didn't really work. There were a lot of other better options in the legendary department. Invective, being a long-time gun that was one of many people's first exotics, I'm really kind of curious to know what they're going to do with it and what kind of perks it's going to get. I always liked the sights on the Invective, and I thought it was a really cool gun. Truth is going to stick around, which is interesting. I'm sure that a lot of PvP players are going to be using that a lot. Thunderlord, it seems that Thunderlord is getting a flavor of the month kind of bonus where you'll have not only arc but solar and void. I'm not too sure about this. I really was a big fan of Jolder's hammer, and I have to admit I collected a Jolder's hammer of every flavor, and I really love that heavy machine gun. But it's kind of interesting to see what they're going to do differently with Thunderlord besides have it shoot faster when you hold down the trigger. I'd honestly like to see something new done with the heavy machine gun. The fusion rifle in the heavy machine gun slot sounds really interesting, and I can't wait to see what they decide to do with that. Now, on to some kind of bad news. The Vex Mythoclast, the Necrochasm, the Hard Light, Gjallarhorn, Icebreaker, Universal Remote, Super Good Advice, Thorn, and the Mida Multi-Tool are not being upgraded. They're not going to get any new perks. They're not going to get any new buffs. The damage is going to stay the same, and that's kind of just that. The Mythoclast, I thought, needed to stick around a little bit more. I don't think people thoroughly enjoyed that weapon enough. It kind of got lost, and it was an interesting weapon. It was a fusion rifle that shot like an auto rifle, which is kind of what I wanted when I saw fusion rifles for the first time. I always imagined, man, if I didn't have to charge and I could just shoot this thing like an auto rifle, this would be awesome. And it was with the Mythoclast at first, but with all the nerfs and the bugs that happen with fusion rifles, it didn't really work out. Necrochasm, another gun that underwhelmed a lot of people. Hard Light, another gun that underwhelmed a lot of people. And I thought Hard Light could have had something really special. One idea that I always had was, what if Hard Light did extra damage to people in their supers? So if somebody had a golden gun or a blade dancer or a Nova Bomb ready and aimed at you, or some kind of Titan Smash coming at you, if you had Hard Light and you shot at them with the Hard Light, it did double or triple the damage and stopped them from it. And that was the only time it had some kind of bonuses to fend off super users. It could have been interesting, but nothing's going to happen. Gjallarhorn's getting a nerf because, well, it's Gjallarhorn and it kills everything. Icebreaker, a great sniper, a lot of fun. Don't really know why they decided to nix it. They guess they didn't want people actually sniping. Universal Remote, double shotguns, always fun. Super Good Advice, crappy heavy machine gun that didn't really work. And the Mida Multi-Tool, really good gun that didn't quite make it. So now that the patch is out, I'm curious to know, what's your favorite part about the patch? What is it that you're looking forward to? And how much PvP do you plan on playing this week? Until next time, this is TDK, Mr. So Real. Later.